Today we're going to be taking a look at the top 10 Arby's memes.
Arby's is that restaurant with the sandwiches that are just filled with what they claim is roast beef and nothing else.
Yeah, they're really big on roast beef. They stack it up, raise that bun to the sky, and they also inspire a lot of very creative memes.
So let's dive right in with number 10.
So here we see beloved McDonald's icon Grimace doing a little
Onions! Doing a little onions!
Doing a bit of a side hustle in an Arby's meme. We can see he's looking quite quizzical, and we've got our caption, "What if I condemned my soul to eternal damnation by eating at Arby's?" And the first
You can see he's tempted.
You can see he's very tempted. He's considering it. The first thing I feel when I look at this is, we've all been there, right? You're thinking about, do I feel like Arby's today? You're thinking about that tasty roast beef burger thing. You're getting excited about it. But on the other hand, eternal damnation, spending all eternity, the rest of measurable time in hell. Is it worth it?
I mean, for Arby's, probably not. Let's be honest.
Well, different... The thing is, that's what this meme's all about. You gotta think about it and make your own decision.
It provokes discussion. Yeah, that's pretty good. That's really the best a meme can hope for. So, number 9.
Okay, now this is very much built on a big part of the Arby's experience. You go to Arby's, you're super pumped, you're hungry, it's lunchtime, you want to get that sweet roast beef sandwich. But, oh no, there's a sign on the counter, "Sorry, our roast beef printer is out of order." And your day is just ruined.
So it's weird how this is a thing, apparently, that tons of Arby's restaurants, and the whole thing with Arby's is apparently their appeal is predicated on the availability of extruded roast beef. So for the printers to be broken on such a regular basis seems like, wouldn't they be undermining their business model here? It's odd that they haven't found a way to address this. But I mean, if you go to Arby's for roast beef and the roast beef printer's broken, I mean, this is what, Heisentuber?
Yeah, so I think, really with this meme, I think we've all been here at some point, and I think they found the perfect avatar for that moment of despair when you see, that printer is broken. In Walter White, in this moment of complete defeat, he falls to his knees, mouth agape. That's despair, and that's how you feel when the roast beef printer just isn't working.
So moving on to number 8.
Now with this one, we're getting a little political.
Potentially controversial Arby's memes.
Indeed. People are going to feel different ways about this, depending on, how you feel about former British Prime Minister Boris Johnson. Some people hate him, some people like him. The thing that doesn't quite click for me, is that he does look quite disgusting in that photo. Just like Arby's.
We all have our disgusting days, though, good or bad.
We all do. Yeah, it's a deliberately unflattering photo. Let's be fair to the man. People take these photos because they're unflattering and they run with them and they make memes that can be quite...
They make memes out of photos that hurt people's feelings.
They do, and it can be quite unkind, But this meme is also being quite unkind to Arby's and saying Arby's is disgusting.
That's true.
And and if you look at this
Arby's is the real victim.
Arby's is the real victim. And I think our takeaway here is that memes and politics and Arby's just don't mix. Keep those things separate. You have a moment of frustration. People feel very strongly about politics. They have a moment of frustration. They want to express that on the internet. We've all been there at some point. Just leave Arby's out of it next time. And also, be a little nice. Maybe say, "Oh, Boris Johnson, I don't agree with him," and use that as your caption.
He had a bad day, though.
Yeah, he had a rough time. Just be a little kinder.
Stick to the facts.
There you go.
All right, what have we got next? Classic LeVar Burton.
LeVar Burton from Star Trek The Next Generation.
And Reading Rainbow.
Yeah.
I remember when I was a kid, because there's an episode of Reading Rainbow where he goes behind the scenes at his job on The Next Generation, and you see the aliens, and Michael Dorn steps out of the trailer, stand aside, I take large steps. And as a kid, I was scared of that episode, and whenever I saw that, Reading Rainbow was coming on, and I saw there was that episode, I would turn it off. because it frightened me because of the weird aliens.
The weird aliens, yeah, that would do it. That would do it, you know?
But what's more frightening than Arby's?
True, and you know what I think is more frightening than Arby's? Living with yourself.
It's true. And the thing is, we've all been there, you know, have a moment of weakness and indulge in some Arby's, but then you do have to live with yourself, and it's hard to actually buckle down and acknowledge that. Like, I think the LeVar Burton meme here really sums it up. You know, you don't want to deal with those consequences, but ultimately you have to.
Yeah, I mean, for me, when I think about, I go to Arby's, you know, it's brightly lit, everyone's happy.
It's usually brightly lit.
Everyone's chatting, you know, you see that the roast beef printer is working properly.
For once.
And then, yeah, you order your big beef sandwich, roast beef layered sandwich machine, and you're ready to dig in. And you do. And then, yeah, sometimes there's a moment of regret later in the day when you're just lying on the floor in the bathroom. And
not necessarily even in Arby's. Maybe it's another restaurant.
Maybe you've gone to another restaurant's bathroom and, yeah,
you've gone, you know, it's another restaurant that's maybe where the bathrooms are better lit.
And, you know, in that moment, you have a choice. Do you accept the consequences of your own actions, or do you deliberately forget about it and just go to Arby's the very next day?
And you shouldn't do that.
Well, yeah, but sometimes you do.
You do, yeah. So I guess number 5. Now, so this is, I think, getting political again, because this is, I forget his first name. It's Blanchet is the last name. He's the leader of, I think, the Bloc Québécois in the Canadian province of Quebec, where French people have to live.
Do we know anything for sure about this man? So long story short, he's a Quebecois politician.
Yes. And my understanding is that this is an instance of the sad Blanchet meme. Because he's got like the sad cat meme thing, he's got the eyes from that.
Oh, so those aren't his real eyes?
I don't think so, no.
Okay, I thought he was sick.
Can't rule that out. But this, I think, this is sort of, you know, taking the moral high ground compared to the Boris Johnson meme. Because, although sort of a funny photo of him here, I ran the text into Google Translate, and apparently this translates to Arby's is in Quebec with a poutine sandwich. And I guess that's the image of it. I guess that's a real Arby's sandwich. And then the text below that's in all caps says, "I will be very sad now."
So why would he be sad about an Arby's sandwich that's specially adapted for a Quebecois audience?
Well, I mean, I think the thing is, looking at that photo, assuming it's not photoshopped there, like of the sandwich.
Yeah, assuming this was a real offering on the Arby's menu.
This is something that they actually made available in the French province of Quebec. To take the Quebec national dish poutine and mix it with Arby's, even if you like poutine and you like Arby's, that combination, that fusion of the two does not look good.
Yep.
Like, it looks
I'll
to me,
give you that one.
Because, like, you know, there's the whole thing, two great tastes that taste great together. Mm-hmm. This does not look like one of those cases.
So he's kind of upset that they've bastardized a favorite Quebecois dish.
Yes.
And also, in the process, ruined the beautiful majesty of the Arby's mound of roast beef.
The Arby's mound of roast beef sandwich. Isn't that all of them?
Yes, yeah.
I was just looking at this as, he's sad because, you know, poutine has been ruined by an association with an Arby's sandwich.
But he's also sad about the Arby's sandwich.
Yeah, no, that's true. That's
a
perspective I had not considered.
Mm-hmm.
But this is, I think, at least, you know, like, the eyes were photoshopped in there, but it's not so much like it's not targeting him, it's more speaking to the broader cultural context.
Yeah, you know, it's making it about the issue. It's not a personal attack. And that's the sort of kind of good, productive dialogue we want to see in our Arby's memes.
Yeah. So next, we've got, we have the meats, and then in a parentheses, your meat too. We have the meats is the official Arby's slogan for
Hard
those
to
of
believe.
You.
It is hard to believe, but yeah, that's the official Arby's slogan for those of you that don't know. Which, by the way, if you don't know the official Arby's slogan, this video really isn't for you. I'd recommend you go do something else, just to... Should have said that up front, but...
Yeah, you should stop watching now. Better things to do with your time, no doubt.
Yeah.
For everyone else...
So we have the meats is the slogan they use in all their marketing materials and promotional advertising, all that stuff. And so this meme, I gotta be honest, I'm not sure exactly what this meme is trying to say. They've got that very close up photo of what I believe is some of that famous printed roast beef that you'll find piled up in many layers.
It is hard to tell when it's that close. It's almost like, when you don't have explicit scale data, it is tough to say for sure. Like, this could actually be an electron micrograph, or it could be a photo from a satellite of, maybe terrain.
It could be some manner
on an alien world.
Yeah, on an alien world made of roast beef.
Yes.
It could be some sort of human organ. We don't know what things look like in there, generally speaking, those of us who don't have the privilege of performing surgery on each other.
Maybe that resemblance, is tying into the your meat too, in a way. Because it's like, well, Arby's has the meats, but the people who come to Arby's to get the meats are meat as well.
Huh.
On the inside.
Huh. That's very interesting. Yeah, it's finding, maybe it comes from someone's experience of eating a Arby's roast beef pile up sandwich and in finding the joy in that moment and enjoying that experience, they're reminded of the commonality.
Finding a kinship with the sandwich, the roast beef.
Yeah, and I think it's interesting because even, God forbid, if you're not into Arby's, there's something in life that reminds you, we've all been there in terms of having sources of joy in our life that remind us of our common humanity. So really, this is quite a beautiful meme.
Well, it's certainly thought-provoking, one of the more philosophical ones, which I really think, justifies its placement.
So what do we have next? When you wake up and live in a world of Arby's, and we can see that we have the meats.
Thank you. We have the meats, thank you.
Yeah. So I guess this is meant to be a sort of thing where we've got the Arby's roast beef sandwich with the logo as a hat, kind of, and like it's
because their logo is a hat. Yeah.
Yeah, or it might be meant to almost serve like a halo like you'd see in traditional Christian religious imagery, maybe because it is quite luminous. And we have a man who appears overtaken by awe.
Yeah, awestruck, I was going to say.
Yeah, awestruck at the sight of this angelic Arby's sandwich.
That's larger than his head.
I noticed the inclusion of the saluting soldiers along the bottom there in silhouette. And that's something that maybe ties this into the idea that it's a privilege to live in the society that we live in that has Arby's. And we need to remember that people have fought and died.
Made the ultimate sacrifice.
So that we could have that. So that we could have Arby's.
I think that's a valid point because even if you don't like Arby's, you have the freedom to choose not to eat Arby's.
That's true.
No one is forcing you at gunpoint to eat Arby's.
That's true.
Or to not eat Arby's, if you like Arby's.
And I'm sure there are countries in the world where, it's gone both ways. People have been forced one way or the other.
No, if you can think of something, there's a country where it's happened.
Yeah, so I like this. It's a very positive, appreciative meme. It's the sort of thing, you'd want to see in your news feed. Your aunt posts it on Arbor Day or Arby's Day, as we call it in my house.
Oh, yeah. That's really good, yeah. Your house sounds like a terrifying place.
I mean, hey, we feel ways about Arby's, but we're free to make our own choices around it.
Well, I mean, that's truly honoring the spirit of this meme and perhaps the spirit of freedom.
Indeed. So our next meme is quite a classic format we've got here.
Oh, yeah. So, me and the boys after I insist on going to Arby's. And I guess this is one of those me and the boys memes. But interestingly, me and the boys, I think normally all of them are, smiling, grinning. Like, I think the original was like me and the boys trick-or-treating in our 30s, which is pretty good.
Pretty good.
But in this case, it's like, the rhino guy on the left, he's still, having a good time / some sort of coma. But, the other members of the group, they're not too sure. And the thing is, this to me, of all the memes we're looking at in this video is the most relatable. Because within every social circle, there's the one friend who, wants to go to some restaurant that only they really like, or do some activity, go to a movie no one else is really keen on. And because, there's the power and the burden of friendship, you indulge that member of the group, but you're not really happy about it. You actually show up at the place. They're, thrilled, or whatever approximation that represents. Mm-hmm. But, the rest of, everyone else is kind of regretting, maybe we should have sat this one out. And to me, this is really eminently relatable.
And, I think we've established in the different moods and different takes that we've seen in our memes that Arby's can be controversial. People can feel different ways about Arby's. So, as a restaurant, this is probably the sort of thing that Arby's sees a lot. The people who work the counter at Arby's probably see groups of friends coming in. And one of them's super excited, raring to go. And the others are making a good show of it. They're smiling a bit, looking
Their
around.
resolve gradually fades, as they approach the menu. Close enough to actually read the items.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, maybe it's a, catch a glimpse of the roast beef printer just pouring out sheet after sheet of fresh pink beef.
Behind the counter. Yeah, no, I mean, it can be, I imagine, an alarming sight if you're not prepared for it.
Indeed, especially if you haven't been to Arby's before. So yeah, I think there's a reasonable reflection of a scenario they'd see quite a bit at Arby's here. But that's friendship. It's about compromise sometimes. And what's more of a compromise than Arby's?
I couldn't agree more. So, next one up.
When the roast beef printer at Arby's malfunctions and I'm buried alive in roast beef. And we've got an image of a woman crying tears of joy and a kind of a cascade of roast beef imagery.
As if emerging from the printer.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And, I mean, this is the thing. It's a wonderful thing to imagine. The roast beef printer malfunctions, but in your favor for once, Instead of frustrating your roast beef-related ambitions, instead of keeping you from that delicious mound of roast beef on those weirdly garlic-flavored buns, instead of depriving you, it's giving you mound upon mound of roast beef.
Mound upon mound.
Just, overflowing a wave of beef that you can eat at your heart's content, unless it's depriving you of oxygen, which could happen. But, you'd have some moments of roast beef-related joy.
And I guess this meme, a lot of memes tend to be somewhat negative, somewhat critical. I think we saw that with some of the earlier ones.
Yeah.
But this one, at least for a certain type of person, maybe speaks to, the halcyon days when things could actually go wrong in one's favor. It wasn't always bad news, and maybe speaks to hope for a brighter future.
Yeah. These days, it can often feel like the world is stacked against us. I think we've all been there.
Oh, certainly.
Yeah. And it's nice to take a moment and dream of a happy accident where you get covered in roast beef. And this meme really effectively brought me there.
Okay, well, we're getting close to the end now. And we have This Is Arby's, based, of course, on K.C. Green's classic This Is Fine meme. And I mean, this really does seem to represent, at least in my own experience, a typical visit to Arby's. You sit among human-sized mounds of roast beef. There's clouds of smoke
emanating from the roast beef printer.
Oh, yes, no doubt on the verge of another breakdown. Mm-hmm. And then, there's this weird Arby's sandwich on a table in front of you.
Yep, that's pretty much how it is.
Yeah. All right, and now coming in at the number one spot, our final meme.
Disgusting Arby's. Well, so here we have a picture of what looks like a pretty standard Arby's meal, standard 3-piece combo. You've got your classic Arby's sandwich stuffed full of wrinkled pieces of
crenellated
roast beef, just crammed up in a somewhat sweaty, reheated bun. Sitting atop a pile of kind of 2 yellow fries. They're not quite the right
the famous
color.
Arby's curly fries.
Oh, yeah, they are quite good. They've got that classic curve built right in, for sure. So you have your roast beef burgie balanced on your curly fries.
And there's a drink on the side.
A drink on the side. That little thing of ketchup. I assume that's ketchup. It could be some sort of special
It's probably
Arby
some
sauce.
special Arby sauce. It doesn't really look like ketchup.
Yeah, it's not quite the right shade of red, but then at Arby's, a lot of things are not quite the right shade.
It's true.
I do think, you know me. I'm more of a fan of the positive Arby's memes, but I have to give them some credit. This isn't the most flattering picture of Arby's that I've ever seen. You know, I can see how someone with a different take on Arby's would just see this, snap a photo, throw a caption on there with their gut reaction and post it.
And their gut reaction was disgusting Arby's.
It was. What's your take on Arby's and how disgusting it is or isn't? Do you think this photo is fair to Arby's? Do you think this meme is fair to Arby's?
Well, I think this meme is 100% accurate.
I think that it looks different than some Arby's might look.
It looks different. I think we can agree on that point.
Fair enough. We'll just say, we'll say it looks different. This particular Arby's looks disgusting. Maybe other Arby's would be disgusting in a different way.
Yes. And I think we can all agree that this meme is deserving of the #1 spot because it wholly encapsulates all that is Arby's.
I think that's fair. You know, we've sat down at an Arby's table. We've held a roast beef sandwich that does or does not disgust us on a visceral level. I think we've all been there.
Well, thanks for watching.
Thanks for joining us. We were really happy to share all these Arby's memes with you. If you're an Arby's super fan or even an Arby's novice, please like and subscribe.
No, you don't need to do those things. We're not making money on these videos.
No, but we want to be an Arby's channel.
No, there's going to be no more Arby's content on our channel.
I thought this was our plan.
No, this was the one video. That was the agreement.
It was just one video. Why did it look...
A single video. This is the one.
I spent a lot of money on Arby's.
No, the next video is going to be about the rat from 3D Movie Maker.
I can't.